So let's go ahead and set this straight. I am no scuba diver, I don't climb mountains, and I'm not in between two canyons trying to survive off of two bottled waters. I'm your everyday working from home office worker who has been using the Apple Watch Ultra for 3 months now since it's been released. So this is basically gonna be my 3-month review of the Apple Watch Ultra. You know, normally on this channel, I don't do a lot of reviews when it comes to certain devices, mostly just accessories, but I guess the Apple Watch is an accessory, and this is how I feel about it after 3 months of every single day use. Now, there are going to be 3 things that we're going to focus on. It's going to be the size, it's going to be the battery life, and the durability, because those are the 3 things that I think stand out when you talk about this Apple Watch Ultra. So first thing starting off with is the display, the size, the typeability, as I call it. All right. Now the size of this is what won me over. Now I'm normally an Apple Watch user. I probably own about 3 or 4 Apple Watches. I don't get every single Apple Watch every year, but when they make it bigger, when something is a little bit more improved, it draws my attention. When I saw this 49mm all cellular model Apple Watch Ultra, that's the first thing that jumped out at me. Everything that they featured of the durability and how rugged it was, none of that even mattered on my scale of what matters. The size, it's what won me over, because when you're talking about interacting with your watch, which I tend to do a lot, I do a lot on my Apple Watch. I've been learning to do more because of the size. Now, even the previous Apple Watches, and I know a lot of people are going to come up here and say, but T, it's not that big of a size difference between the previous versions and this version. I don't know. Maybe it's the flat display. Maybe it's the squared off, but it seems like it's just a little bit easier to do things on the Apple Watch Ultra, and I absolutely love this size. No, it's not too big. I have big hands, big wrists. Well, my wrist is kind of a little skinny right there, but I like bigger watches, and this watch is the perfect size. I know a lot of people think this is overly big and different things like that, but when this watch is on my wrist, let me go ahead and just slide it on my wrist real quick. I don't think it is that big at all. You know, maybe because I'm a bigger guy, but when this is just slid on my wrist, and let me hook this Apple Watch strap right here, I feel like that's the perfect size in my opinion. This right here feels good. It's not heavy on my wrist. When I first started using it, I was like, you know what, I can kind of feel it's there. Maybe it's a little bit heavy, but over time, now it feels just like any other Apple Watch that I've always used and that I've always owned. And in my opinion, I don't think it's much bigger or heavier than the previous versions. I think everything on this watch is absolutely spot on. So I absolutely love the size of this Apple Watch. It is spot on. Now, when we're talking about typeability, and I know some of you are like, what in the world is typeability? That's basically when you're interacting with your Apple Watch, do you feel confident? Do you feel sure-handed enough to when you press something, it's actually going to work? And that's exactly how I feel about this Apple Watch. Now, the previous versions, I maybe would type something on it, or maybe when the little automatic prompts pop up for me to reply to a text message, I would press it, but it was very precise. It was very small. But I feel like with this one, when that keyboard pops up, I can almost feel comfortable enough to go ahead and reply to a text message, and it doesn't seem that bad in my opinion. So I feel like when you're talking about typing on it, my experience feels pretty good. I tend to do a little bit more on this watch because of its size, because of its typeability, just makes things a little bit more comfortable. So that's what it is when it's coming to the size portion. I love the size, feels good, doesn't feel heavy, and everything that I do when I'm trying to interact with the watch feels comfortable because of the size. Now, when it comes to the Apple Watch Ultra, here people say all the time about how you really can't dress this watch up. It just doesn't fit every occasion that you want to. And I always say it depends on the band that you're using. And shout out to today's sponsor, Casetify. They are getting you laced with their all new monolink stainless steel bands. Now, of course, it doesn't matter whether you have an Apple Watch Ultra or a previous generation Apple Watch, these bands are going to be compatible. But their new monolink stainless steel bands are very durable. All right, we're talking about water resistant, corrosion resistant, and sweat resistant. So you can go ahead and get your watch all fitted up with their monolink band, go out there and do whatever task that you need to do. You don't got to worry about any damage to your Apple Watch. Now, one thing about stainless steel bands that I enjoy is going to be a seamless look all of the way around. And that's exactly what they did with the monolink, incorporating a butterfly clasp. So when you're wearing it, you can't really see any pattern breakup where that release mechanism is. You reach around inside, pop it open, and your watch comes off. Now, not only that, this finish of their monolink bands has a brushed finish, which is going to reduce those scratches. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't got to be careful when you were talking about the bands. You will be just fine. And also, when it comes to stainless steel band, one thing that everybody hates to do is take their band somewhere to get it adjusted. Caseify gives you a tool that makes this very easy to take a band out, custom fit it to your liking where it fits your wrist just perfectly. Now, if you're interested in picking one of these bands up, make sure you use the link down below, www.caseify.com/technicallyt for 15% off of your order. Let's get back to the video. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about durability, all right? Now, like I told you, yes, I'm that standard office worker who really doesn't do anything heavy labor intensive with their Apple Watch. But one thing I can be is clumsy when swinging around, opening doors, different things like that. And I tell you what, it's been plenty of times that I've looked down at an older Apple Watch of mine and see I've scratched my screen, see I've dented my bezel or doing something like that. But I've did some of those same actions with this Apple Watch Ultra, and I'm here to tell you, it has been times where I have thought I have damaged this watch, and to look at this watch, and I don't see a single scratch anywhere. This watch is so durable. Now, Apple usually hits you with all type of marketing lingo. You know how they do. They're marketing geniuses. But this time for the Apple Watch Ultra, I believe everything they say because I've actually experienced everything they say, and it has been spot on. I've used this every single day since it's been released, and I'm not even sure how close I can get up to it, but you can look all the way around this Apple Watch and you will not see one scratch. You will not see one blemish at all when it comes to this. Now, of course, on the very edges of it, you know, it kind of looks like it has some little wear, but when you run your fingers of it, it's no ridges, it's no dents, it's no scratches. It's like normal wear and tear when it comes to this titanium. Look, I don't know what they did with this thing, what they did with this Apple Watch Ultra, but they need to make everything Apple makes, iPhones, whatever, needs to be titanium, all right? And this glass, this screen, I mean, I have a speaker and tempered glass screen protector up here. Now, I know it's totally not needed because the screens are very, very scratch resistant. But just like I stated, I left a dentist appointment one day and just swung my arm and it literally hit a brick wall. And I was just like, yeah, Apple Care has to kick in. I'm going to need a new Apple Watch. Look down at my watch, nothing. There was literally nothing on the screen. So when it comes to durability, Apple just has figured it out when it comes to this Apple Watch. Now, battery life. This is one thing that always has been a thorn in the you-know-what when it comes to Apple Watches. And the battery life, let's just be real. On all previous Apple Watches, the battery life was trash. You're going to have people to come out here and say, well, I got this amount of battery life. I can make it 2-3 days. Look, every day, all I know is I had to put my Apple Watch on the charger every single day when I got home. Now, that's all fixed with the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, once again, during the keynote, Apple was hitting us with all the lingo and different things like that. So I was like, yeah, it sounds good, but let me use this watch in real life application and let me see how many days that I can get out of it. And I can easily say with no baby in this, nothing really turned off, I can get close to 3 to 4 days with this Apple Watch. Now, personally, I'm not a person who has beef with, you know, charging their watch overnight. You got a lot of people who just hate to charge their watch overnight because it's such a hard task to do. But me, I charge this every 2, every 3 days or so until I see it's a low battery. And I'm like, oh, okay. But now I can just take my Apple Watch off at the end of the day, take it off, sit it on a nightstand, and know I can pick it up in the morning, put it right back on, and I can still be geared up for an entire day of usage. So the battery life on this thing is just absolute crazy. And of course, they added the low power mode. I haven't really played with the low power mode because, I mean, once again, remember those canyons with that 2 bottles of water? I'm not stranded in that. So I could care less if I use it and I get 60 hours. I mean, I always got portable chargers on me and different things like that. I can get this charged back up if I need it. So I really haven't tested the low battery mode, but just the regular battery alone lasts way more than I need it to last. It's just an absolute champ. So overall, man, the Apple Watch Ultra, I love it. I think it's one of Apple's best products. When they did the marketing of this Apple Watch, I didn't believe it. But once I started using it, everything that they stated was true. When we're talking about the size and how easy it is to interact, to flow with your Apple Watch, when we're talking about the durability, how you can really do this thing, you can put this Apple Watch through some torture. And there have been a few videos on YouTube of people doing exactly that. And this Apple Watch Ultra has taken it like a champ. And when it comes to the battery life, they delivered. I just knew the battery life wasn't going to deliver, but they absolutely delivered with the battery life. So bravo, Apple. I love this Apple Watch. Honestly, it's my favorite device of this year. I do not have any beef with the price because if you look at quality watches, people out there, you know, if you're a watch snob, quality watches cost a lot of money. And then when you compare the cost of this compared to a lot of other ones who really have similar functionalities as this Apple Watch Ultra, you're going to realize that this watch really isn't as expensive as everybody thinks it is. Yes, a little bit high, but it's a little bit high compared to the older Apple Watches. When it comes to this class of watches and what this thing is designed for, I feel like the price point is kind of spot on. All right, so y'all let me know down below what you think about the Apple Watch Ultra. Let me know if you have one, and let me hear what you got going on. I love this watch. I absolutely do. I'm going to drop some favorite accessories for this thing coming up a little bit soon, but until then, y'all be safe. Catch you on the next one. Later.